In the first half of my presentation, I would like to share some ideas on how you can use the features that are available in Bookshop to engage with your students. I'll definitely share with you some of the features, both online as well as in the mobile app. How can you use these features to enhance, to engage your students? I would then share a work example of how you can put all the ideas together in an ebook. If you have your Bookshelf account open, please try to follow and create your own. And you will see that it's very easy to create your own highlights and notes. The key phrase here is increasing student engagement. We all know that students being students, they are not going to read a textbook just because the instructor asked them to. We need to find ways to, in a way, force them to access the ebook and check out the content. I'm going to quickly share some of these slides with you. These slides will be shared with you together with the recording, so not to worry if you can't read all that is on the screen. Okay, the main focus here is engaging approach. Unlike print textbooks, digital content provides more opportunity for students to engage with the content as well as collaborate with instructors and classmates. We know that students these days, they have at least one mobile phone, and they are constantly chatting with friends online or interacting through social media platforms. VitalSource ebooks use these existing habits to help students with their studies. A study was done by the University of Maryland, VitalSource and Blackboard, which shows the engagement with digital content as a significant factor in predicting student outcome. For example, passing marks rose from 37 to 90%, and students with high levels of engagement are more likely to pass their courses. There is a link here for the study. We will share this slides with you. You can read about the study here, and there are also some case studies here produced by VitalSource. At Pearson, we believe that learning takes place all the time, not just during class. So before class will be the preparation for new learning, during class, facilitation of learning, after class will be tracking and monitoring of the learning. Here are some examples, some activities that can be incorporated at different times. The question is, how can you use eTextbook to engage your students beyond the classroom? A lot have been talked about bookshelf features. You've seen the various features. And
sorry, Sir Peter, you have not shared your slides yet. Apologies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Would you like to start again?
Yes, I'll quickly start again. Okay, you should be able to see now.
Yes, sir, we can see it now.
Okay, I'll go to the first slide again. Okay, my apologies. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was sharing with you that engagement is the key, and students we need to, in a way, find ways to force them to access the ebook and check out the content. This is about the engaging approach, how students are constantly connected to their friends, and how that habit can be used to encourage them in their studies. This is the study done by University of Maryland, Blackboard and VitalSource, which shows the engagement with digital content. So you can see the improvements when instructors engage students. And students with high levels of engagement are dramatically more likely to pass their courses. So this is the link to the case studies from VitalSource, and this is the link to the study. This is the learning circle that we practice with our digital products: before class, preparation, during class, facilitation, and after class, tracking and monitoring of learning. And these are some activities that you can use to extend learning beyond the classroom. So how can you use the eTextbook to engage students beyond the classroom? That's something that instructors need to think about. Yeah, so this is where I stop, the bookshelf features. So over the next few slides, I will share some ideas on how you can use the tools to engage your students with the ebook content. And then the later second part of my presentation, I will show a work example of how you can pull all of this together with your own content. Okay, so basically, we know about all these features, and by now we know all these tools, notes and highlights, flashcards, accessibility control, global search, offline access. And you are the expert of your course, so you decide how to teach your class. So how can you customize the available content to be more relevant to your course? Okay, adding notes and highlights is, again, from the survey, we found that notes and highlights is quite popular. So you can use the prompt question. I've created some prompt questions on top for you to think of ways to get your students engaged with the textbook. So instead of getting your students to highlight and make notes, you can start the ball rolling by adding your own notes and highlights and share that with your students. I know it can be a lot of work, but once done, you can share your work again in the next semester if you're using the same textbook. And so you create once and you can reuse again and again. You can just continue adding notes for your students. You can use it in your next semester as well. Yeah, so all we want to do is to make the content more relevant to your course by highlighting the passages, adding explanations, so you make it your own. So students have to go in to find the information that you provide. They can't find it elsewhere. So they have no choice but to go into the textbook to find the information. You can also place engaging activities into the ebook. We think the students know how to have a good highlighting skills, but students actually, many of them don't. So you may want to refer them to some websites, or may want to share with them from your experience how to do good highlighting skills. Again, encourage them to highlight with multiple colors and show them how they can quickly turn the highlights and notes into revision notes. And just like for instructors, for students as well, after making the notes and highlights, a student can return the ebook, and when the student borrows the ebook again, the work previously done will reappear. So whatever work the students have done will still show up. There was a question earlier about borrowing and return of the ebooks. So I think the limit is 2 days that students can borrow. So the duration is 2 days, whether it's online or offline. Remember that students are not downloading the ebook to their device, but through the bookshelf app. So when the 2 days are up, the ebook will disappear from the app as well. Okay. Flashcards, this was discussed earlier as well. You can easily create flashcards and students can review them. Accessibility control. So this makes learning experience more comfortable for everyone. For example, the fonts, different sizes, text font, because prolonged viewing of content on screen can be tiring. So there are several options here. They can select the type of font. You can also change the background, screen color, margin sizes, height can also be adjusted. All these are available to make the learning experience more comfortable. Search, this was covered earlier as well. So students can search instead of going through the index at the back of the book. They can search for key phrases. They can even use phrases to search. And as instructor, you can search globally. You can search across all publishers. You can search for all books that are related to your content in UP library. And with that, you can create your own lesson plans and study guides. And you can recommend to your students which books they should refer to. Offline access, this was covered as well by Daphne. And whatever work done on the ebook will be available for offline viewing as well. So students can continue to add their own highlights and notes, but of course they have to come back to a place where there is online access for that content to be synced with the online version. Okay, the next 4 slides are related to the 4 major main roles of instructors. Again, we try to link it with the features that are available in Bookshelf. So for example, pedagogical, how the instructor is the leader for content. So for that to happen, you can start creating the customized student study experience. That's pedagogical. Then social, creating a friendly social environment. You can encourage peer-to-peer learning, team-based learning by creating I'm confused highlight, for example, bookmarking, sharing between you and your students and between project groups, for example. Managerial, how you can create course objectives. I'll show you in a minute what I mean by this. And then technical, of course, you don't really have to teach students how to use the device. They are quite smart in the area, but you may want to be familiar on how to navigate, how to create highlights and notes for maximum results. So you may want to be familiar with the platform, how to access the ebook, so that when your students are stuck, you can help them. Okay, these are just some pointers on the learning experience using technology. So your digital ebook, digital reading experience must be better than the print reading. Otherwise, students will not be motivated to read the ebooks. Okay, here a study was done by Pearson. So this is the hype is called Beyond the Hype, showing that technology alone is not the magic answer. You can download this study by scanning this QR code. Otherwise, you can download here, and there are some useful links here as well, resources for that will help you in your online teaching. Okay, I'm going to stop my presentation. Yeah, and can still see my screen, Leon?
Yes, Peter, we can still see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you should be seeing Contemporary Engineering Economics. This is one of the books in UP Library. You can see this is my Bookshelf account. I've logged into my Bookshelf account. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on this. You see this A here. Okay, this is the screen that I would see. This is setting the different display methods that are available. So I'm interested in the highlighters here. I would suggest that you do this in an online mode first. Create whatever highlighters that you want, or your students want. Encourage them to create online, and then when they are offline, they can continue using the highlights because they already created. So what I've done here is I have created 3 highlighters here based on a learning objective. So these are my 2 learning objectives: engineering, economics decision, and this type of business organizations. And I've also created another highlighter called I'm confused. So this is something that you can encourage your students to do. Okay, anything that they're not sure, they can create this. And again, this was shared earlier. This is a public highlighter because you see the icon here. And this is a private highlighter. So any highlight using this would not be seen by anybody else. And this is directly linked to, I can add new ones. I can just click here. I can change the name. I can choose a color, change the name. I can make it public or private. Okay, linked to this highlighter is the sharing option here. So you can click this link to share with your students, or you can ask your students to share their links so that you can see the work that they are doing. And also here, you can see that I am following. So in this case, I'm following Morit. So any work that Morit does in this ebook, I will be able to view as well. Okay, so I just have to enter the email. So you can give your email to your students and they can follow you. Whatever you do, they can view it as well. Or you can ask your students to share a link with their project group. Maybe there's a small group, they can share and they can use it for their class project or discussion. So what can I do with this? After creating the highlighters, I'm going to go to this part here that shows the workbook. Okay, so you can see here, I have my 3 highlights here. So the first one is engineering economic decisions. So what I've done is I have created notes. Notice this is the highlight. So when I click on this first highlight, it will bring me to that highlighted content here. Yeah, so this is the content that I've highlighted. And these are my own personal notes. So as an instructor, you can create your own notes. So your students have to come in here to read your notes related to this. Okay, these are notes your students want to read because they are your input. Okay, and then over here, I say before proceeding with the 5 types, watch this short intro video. Okay, and I've added a YouTube link here. So you can add any external videos if you want to, or even a website URL. You can ask your students to go and read them for further knowledge. So the students just have to go here and then they would go to the YouTube link and they can watch the video. After that, so what I'm trying to do here is you can create your own lesson plan or your study guide for your students. Okay, so here you have more information. This is another highlight, and then I put here number 1. So remember there are 5 types here, 5 types of engineering decisions. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. Okay, so that completes this learning objective, which is engineering economic decisions. And then further on, I add some more notes here. And then what I'm asking them to do is now read this case study and come prepared to discuss during the online class next Monday. So if they don't go into your textbook, if they don't read this, they won't know that they have to come prepared to discuss. So here I have created a link. So this link is pointing to the case study, which is at the back of the book on page 405. So if I click on this, it will bring me to page 405. How do I get this link? Very easy. You go back to your table of content. First, you need to go to the page. Go to the page. Let me just go to the page here. Oops. Okay. And then over here. So you should open up on page 405. Okay, while waiting for it to show up, yeah, it is coming up. Okay, yeah, 405. So that's the page, and the case study is somewhere here. Okay, to get this link, you just go to the page that you want, and you will see this table of content. You see this 3 dot. Just click on it. You will see copy page URL. Okay, so just click on it, and you can paste the link over here. Okay. And then you can go on and add some more. And then here I've also added, say, review table 7.26 and the question. And then, so I'm asking them to answer a question, and then they will share the answer during the next online breakout session. So the main idea here is to get your students to come in, have a look at what's happening, interact with the content, interact with your customized notes, and then to learn better. Okay, so engagement. So similarly, there is a type of business organization. So again, same thing. I've created this, and then this is I'm confused. So you can ask your students to compile all the I'm confused, and then they can send it to you, and you can see what are the main problems your class is experiencing. Or you can get all the I'm confused and ask your students to form a little group, and they can discuss and they can learn peer-to-peer learning. You can have a team-based learning. You can have a small project to work around these topics as well. And this was also shared. So once I have all my highlights, I just go to export, and I will be able to see all the notes here. These are all the highlights, and these are all the notes. Okay, so they're all here, which can easily be used for revision. And you can save it as a PDF. You can send it off, email, or you can print them out as well. Okay, so here, the next step here is the bookmarks. You can bookmark, and here I can easily create whatever I've highlighted into a flashcard. So here you can see that this is my main folder, which is engineering economic decisions. And within the folder, I can create a number of tags. Okay, number of tags, and then I can go to study mode, and I can say, yes, I know, or I don't know, and then I can do a revision. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my slide here. Okay, so the last part of my presentation is this short survey. I would like you to answer 2 or 3 simple questions. You can scan the QR code here. Or if it doesn't work, then just type this out in your browser. And please answer the questions, 3 or 4 questions. I remember what was shared earlier. All active participants stand a chance to win prizes in the raffle draw. Okay. We'll give about 1 or 2 minutes. And I'll share the results.
May we encourage everyone to participate? Our participants, please participate in the survey so that we have regarding the raffle for today, we have more chances of winning in terms of the raffle, and also to give feedback into our presenters with regards to the functionalities available in your VitalSource Explorer. So may I take this opportunity, Peter, to summarize on our topic. Thank you very much, Peter, for the discussion. And of course, just to summarize on what has been covered for your session, of course, we focus on the ideas that are useful for our participants, the ideas that are useful for our teachers in terms of maximizing the features available in your VitalSource. So we have technically covered that, of course, the teacher will be controlling the resources for the students. And of course, they will need everything that they can avail with regards to the platform in terms of customizing the contents, making the notes and the highlights, and of course, sharing them to students and utilizing the available resources such as flashcards into their classroom discussions or into the students' formative assessments. Of course, Peter showed a detailed demo on the use of the tools. And of course, we have defined that this is not just your select and search and access resource. Of course, this interacts with the user with regards to addressing their prevailing needs or prevailing requirements and accessibility controls for the ideal ready environment. So of course, we are working to create an ideal learning environment, and this is done by creating an ideal reading environment in the first place. Of course, Pearson has done the study, and they have made a survey of regards to which functionalities of the platform best serves the purpose of improving teaching and learning. And Peter has covered them in his session. And we'd like to go into, of course, the multiple roles that the teachers should play in terms of being part of the learning process. We have the pedagogical, social, managerial, and of course, our technical aspects of being part of the system, which is the VitalSource or the eTextbook reserve in terms of deploying this content to the end users. Peter?
Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. So I'll share the result. Okay. Yeah. Right. So majority of you feel that adding notes and highlights is very useful. Yeah. So just remember when you create highlights, try to do it in the online version, because in the offline version it's only for private use. And we also wanted to see if there is some desire or need for a hands-on training, more in depth, because we can't cover much in this short period of time. So out of 9 of you, 5 say yes, why not? But we'll think about that in the future if there is a need to do that. Okay, so after today, there is no excuse for you not to know anything about VitalSource or the UP library. As what Dr. Dinego mentioned, a lot of money has been invested in this UP library. So please make use of them, take advantage, exploit it to your advantage to not only increase students' engagement, but also to make your teaching easier so that you can create your notes and then you can share it again and again. Thank you so much.